หัวหน้าน้ำท่วมถนนขาดหมดแล้ว
Floodwaters rose in Uttaradit. Survival became a race against time. In Nampat district, 9 villagers, including children and elderly grandparents, were forced onto the roofs of their homes. With the water climbing past the first floor, there was nowhere else to go. Aerial images shared by local rescue groups show tiny figures huddled together on rooftops, waving frantically for help as the muddy torrent surged below them. One family described how the water burst through their front door with such force that furniture was instantly swept away. We barely had time to grab the children and climb up, said a father of 3, his voice trembling as he recounted the moment. Another chilling case involved a 65-year-old grandmother trapped on the second floor of her home. Neighbors could only watch helplessly from a distance as the water kept rising, unsure if rescue teams would reach her in time. Even more heartbreaking was the plight of a 92-year-old woman and her 74-year-old husband in Ban Rong Luek village. They were too weak to climb stranded inside their flooded home as water swirled around them. Local rescue teams battled strong currents and poor communication lines to reach them, wading chest deep through mud and debris. The mission was dangerous, but it became a symbol of the human spirit refusing to abandon the vulnerable. For countless families, the rising water erased the boundary between safety and danger in minutes. Bedrooms became pools, kitchens turned into rivers, and roads into deadly traps. What was once familiar and ordinary suddenly became a fight for survival in one of Thailand's worst flooding emergencies in recent memory. When dawn broke after the heaviest rainfall, the true scale of destruction came into focus. Entire sections of roadways had disappeared beneath the water, leaving deep, gaping holes where asphalt once stood. In Uttaradit's Nampat district, at least 2 major bridges were completely washed away, severing access to rural villages. For residents, it meant no way out, and for rescuers, no way in. Emergency crews were forced to improvise with boats and heavy machinery to ferry supplies across what had become raging rivers. Electricity lines snapped under the weight of debris, plunging neighborhoods into darkness. In some areas, power poles toppled into the floodwaters, sparking dangerously before falling silent. Communication networks also buckled under the strain, leaving many families unable to contact loved ones for hours. In the chaos, rescue teams struggled to coordinate across submerged and isolated communities. Public buildings once considered safe havens were not spared. Several schools were left under several feet of water, classrooms filled with mud and overturned desks. Businesses that lined the main streets of Nam Pat lay in ruins. Stores, gutted goods swept away, and livelihoods drowned in an instant. Local hospitals already stretched thin reported treating dozens of flood-related injuries from broken bones caused by collapsing structures to dangerous infections from contaminated water. The destruction went beyond physical damage. Roads, schools, and bridges are the lifelines of these rural communities. Losing them meant more than inconvenience. It meant children missing education, farmers unable to reach markets, and families trapped in isolation as supplies dwindled. What was once a tight-knit region connected by simple infrastructure was now a series of islands cut off from one another by a wall of water. Floodwaters swallowed more of Uttarad's rescue operations, shifted into overdrive. Thailand's Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation scrambled to deploy boats, trucks, and helicopters into the hardest-hit zones. Military units were dispatched to assist navigating submerged streets with amphibious vehicles, while volunteers joined forces with local officials to ferry stranded families to safety. Yet, with roads and bridges washed away, every mission turned into a race against time. In Nam Pat district, rescue crews focused on rooftop evacuations. Families waved pieces of cloth and shined flashlights from above as water surged through their homes. Elderly residents, too weak to climb on their own, had to be carried to safety. In one dramatic scene, a 92-year-old grandmother and her 74-year-old husband were rescued after being trapped inside their flooded home for hours. Children huddled together on mats while parents tried to comfort them, unsure of when or if they would return home. Health workers circulated among the displaced, handing out masks to prevent the spread of illness and warning families to avoid drinking floodwater contaminated with mud, sewage, and debris.
อยู่กับเขตดิ้งดองนะครับผมมัธยาดิ้งดองนะครับเขาน้อยนะครับตอน
But even with around-the-clock efforts, demand for rescue far outweighed available resources. Dozens of calls for help poured in every hour, many from remote villages still cut off by torrents of water. Rescue coordinators described it as a logistical nightmare, juggling limited manpower, failing communications, and relentless weather conditions. Operation carried risks, unstable buildings, hidden currents, and landslides triggered by saturated hillsides. For those on the ground, it wasn't just about saving lives, it was about buying time before the next wave of rain arrived. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about the latest developments.